And what I want to see is I want to see price move to a deeper retracement on the higher time frame, come up to this 137 level, and then I'd love to see this play out. So from the upside, that's about 200 pips. And then if we do potentially get that sell off of this higher time frame, I see the potential for a move for about 600 pips. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you guys are well. It has been a few weeks. I appreciate you guys being patient with me as I still get acclimated into my space. But this morning, what I wanted to do is I want to take a look at USD CAD. And I am going to start on, I'm just starting on the wrong time frame. It's supposed to be on a monthly. Let's delete this and let's start over. I'm gonna start on a monthly time frame. I'm going to do a multiple time frame analysis. And for those of you guys who are new, that is simply where we go through the exercise of finding swing highs, swing lows on each time frame and marking the areas of potential reversal, right? And so I'm starting off on the higher time frame because the higher time frame controls the lower time frame. And so I want to see where those areas are on each time frame. So we start off on the monthly, we work our way down to the 4 hour. You can go lower than that, but for how I trade, this is what works best for me. And so I go through each time frame, marking those areas with a distinctive color. I recommend that you do the same as well, so that you can easily and quickly identify where you are if you're on the go and you're looking at your phone, or just for you to become familiar with those key zones. And I think for the moment, this is all I want to go ahead and mark. And so you'll see I've identified those swing highs up here, right? I got highs here, and then I've identified those lows. Perfect. Okay, so I'm done on this time frame. Oh, now on the weekly, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna do the same thing that I just did before, and I'm going to change that that color coordination so that it's for my weekly time frame. I use blue on the weekly time frame, and so I'm going through, and that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm marking out those levels. I'm looking for lows that I may have missed. And I believe I have one here. And I've got another one here. And I'm going to go to the daily. And I'm going to do the same thing. Looking for those high probability areas where price has a potential to reverse. And if you are not familiar with some of the terminology that I'm using, I definitely recommend that you go to the no cost mini course so that you can follow along with not only the language that I'm using, but what I'm seeing in the market and how I identify it as well. And specifically too, because I'm a heavily based Fibonacci trader. In that video, I break down to you how I use the fibs and how they have proven to work for me in the past. And so I am done with that. So I'm going down to the 4 hour and I'm marking out my key zones in the 4 hour. And I want to mark the levels that I see as resistance and support, those swing highs and those swing lows. And so that is what I'm doing. And I see here, let's see. This is not, I can't mark that as a high yet. Okay. I think we got one here. We got one there. I got two up here. And I got one here. Right. I also have one here. This is an area, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go up since I finished all of, like, the first step is finding all of your levels of resistance and support, and you work through that through the various time frames. Starting off on the monthly, work your way down monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour. I don't do 8 hours. Some people do. I really think it's your preference, but my key levels are monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, and then I break down to the lower time frame, like the 15, to find an entry. Okay, so I'm gonna go back up to the monthly. Now what I want to see is I want to see where we are in the entire fib sequence, right? And so looking at this chart, I know you may be a little bit overwhelmed, like, girl, what's really going on? But looking at this chart, I see that my last high was back here. And for the most part, price has been moving to the downside for the last starting in 2020, moving to the downside, big downside move. Then we found support at 120, and price has been moving to the upside since there. So what I want to do now, because this was my last high, I want to go in. I will want to see where we are in the sequence. So I grabbed my fib tool. I parked it right above the last high. And what this shows me is that we had an A high, we had a B low, we had a very shallow pullback at the 236 level. And what happens with that is that the sequence typically does not finish out, right? So when I say finish out, meaning you see in between the A and the B, there are colors, right? Red, blue, green, and black. And so in order for a sequence to be finished out, if it pulls back to a red level, which it did here at this 23.6, theoretically it's supposed to go to the next red level, which was at 119.425. That did not happen. Price found support at 119.967. So this sequence is still in play, meaning that price has to at some point come back to this downside and hit this low at 1195 in order to be completed for the next sequence to start. And so what happens when you get this shallow retracement, we normally see price go back up to at least the 38.2, which was right here. Sometimes we see it push higher. So in this instance, we saw price come almost to that 618 pullback level. It's my thought that eventually we're going to see price come back down and play off of this 618D extension level. So we see that right before the 618 level, we formed not only one monthly resistance level, we have three that price has hit. So now you're like, okay, this is great, Kaci. What do I do with this information? Well, I'm gonna drill down. Okay, so I'm gonna go down to the weekly, and I'm gonna take a look as to where we are. So price has been moving to the upside. I want to see if we hit a D extension to the upside off of this low. And I see that we have that D extension. This is the active fib to the upside. D extension on this is above that monthly resistance level. I don't know necessarily that that's going to happen. I think that we have to get past this 139 first. So I'm going to go to a lower time frame to see what we have in the interim. So the next lowest time frame is the daily. I'm going to take my fib to the downside and stretch this out. And so what I'm seeing here on the daily is we have got our A high. We got a B low. Prices pulled back to that 618 level. So theoretically, we could see price start to break down to hit this D extension at 1328. Or this is for this daily time frame. Or I'm going to go back to the weekly. And I didn't show this to y'all. I'm going to go back to the weekly. And I'm going to click to the downside. On the higher time frame, although on the daily, like, we hit the 618 level to the downside, right? On the weekly, we have not hit that 618 level. And now we really like to see price hit at least the 38.2 or ideally even the 618. So you see all of these red levels. You got 2 daily levels, 2 4-hour levels of resistance right here, right around this 173, 175 area. That to me, that's a strong area of resistance. What I would like to see from the higher time frame is I would like to see price travel to the upside and test this area in order to complete out this fib to 131,205, right? My thought is that we're going to 131 level. And I may not have shown this. I'm gonna go back. Y'all, my mind is moving a mile a minute. And so I want to make sure that I show you guys what I see. So I'm gonna go back to the monthly. It is. So I'm clicking above my last high. That's what I wanted to show y'all. So even though on the higher time frame, we know that overall 120 is like, that's the monthly. That could take years to play out. And on the weekly, this is the setup that I think that we have right now, which is the A low or the A high, the B low. We had a pullback to the green level, which is the A6. 138,711. Price even went a little bit higher than that, but it did not surpass the A, which means that this down move is still in play. And theoretically, what price should be doing is coming to this 1308. All right, so keep this in mind because I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you how this fits in relation to our target based on what we were looking at. So if I look at this leg, like that's the overall move, right? But if I look at this leg and I'm looking at where I am right now, you see how this D extension right now is right in the same zone as our D extension on this bigger overall move. So it falls into the same zone. And what I want to see is I want to see price move to a deeper retracement on the higher time frame, come up to this 137 level, and then I'd love to see this play out. So from the upside, that's about 200 pips. And then if we do potentially get that sell off of this higher time frame, I see the potential for a move for about 600 pips at the very least, 600 pips. So let's drill down and let's drill down even further. And let's mark off the 618 zone. And I know this may be a little bit confusing to you, but again, I recommend that you go to that no cost mini course or even peruse around the channel so you can become familiar with my process and the step-by-step approach so you can follow along. All right. So what I want to look at is I want to look at this from, did we look at the 4? So I showed you from the 4 hour where price was, right? That's not what I want. It might be the daily. Y'all, I'm trying to remember. Oh, that's what I was looking at. I was looking at the daily. So in the daily, we still have an active fib to the downside as well. So we could see price complete the sequence off of the daily level. But what I really want to see is I want to see it complete off of the weekly level. So I would love to get a move to the upside. So price is sitting at a 4 hour level right now, right? This would be my zone to take a potential buy. I wouldn't take it off the daily though. And why I'm leaning to the upside, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna get rid of this fib. Why I'm leaning to the upside is I'm gonna take my smart trend line and just ensure, yep, that I did it right. Because we got a break to the upside, right? Like I said, we could play off this 4 hour level and drop. But what I really, really, really want to see is I'm going to go down to the 4. What I really want to see is I want to see this move to the upside. I'm going to grab my smart fib. I'm going to click below the last low. And so if we look at this fib on the lower time frame, the 4 hour, the second fib is still active. When it's lit up, it's still active. So you have an A low, you have your B high. We had a shallow pullback, right? Less than the 38.2. When was this? Last week. Price pushed up and stalled out, creating a 4 hour resistance right at the 118,127. Then we got a deeper push down where we hit that 38.2. Looks like we even hit the 50, which to me is a perfect setup for a buy. So how would I enter this, Kaci? How would I take advantage of what the market is potentially giving me? Now, some of you guys may say, hey, I only want to take the sell. When price reaches this zone, you absolutely could. You could put in a limit, a sell limit for 1374, 1375, whatever it is. I would do very small until I see that it's going to, price starts moving in that direction. Or you can trade reversals. I know a lot of people don't like trading a correction and trading a reversal, but honestly, wherever the market gives me an opportunity, that's where I want to play at. So I'm going to look into how do I set this up in order to take advantage of what the market has right now. Now, I know I told y'all I mark until the 5th or until the 4 hour, and then I go in and I try to find my entry based off the lower time frame. So what I've done is I've gone down to the hour, and what I'm looking for in here is I'm going to map out what I need it to look like in order for me to enter or execute the trade. And so what I'm doing is setting this up for what I like to see, which is the break and the retest. And this is already shown that we've crossed that line, and that's an aggressive line. This is right here. So what I did was I put my smart trend line on it to look for a break, but this has already happened right here. So I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is I want to see price break above this level right here. So what I need to see on the lower time frame is I need to see price, or let me see if I can even get my fib on it. Fib works all the way down to like the 5 minute. And let me see. I'm gonna click below the last low. And what we have right now. Did we come all the way down to the A? That's what it looks like. So it's not giving me what I thought I would see. I want to see a break out of here, right? A break above this trend line, and then I want to see price come back, retest it in some capacity, and it looks to me like that could happen right around here. And I know you're probably like, how, Kaci? So I'm looking at the areas of resistance. So you got resistance right here, you got resistance right here, you got resistance right here, you got support, you got support, you got resistance, and it looks like price is forming a level of support. So I would like to see it, and let me clean up my drawing. I would like to see price test somewhere in this zone once it's broken, and then I would anticipate if we break out of here that we're going to see price move to the upside. So that's what I would be looking for my entry. As far as a stop loss, how I would place it, since I'm going down on this lower time frame, my thought would be that if I'm entering here, my stop needs to be below the last low. And because this is a 15 minute, I would probably be most comfortable placing it below this low here. I'm going to turn this to my red color to show myself that this is a stop loss, right? Let me see how many pips this is, because this is going to determine how much of a position I'm going to take. You talking at most maybe 40 pips stop loss, right? In order to gain, what did I say? Just under 200. That makes sense all day. That's like a 5 to 1. So let me go back so I can actually, this doesn't look scrunched up. That's like a 5 to 1. If my math is right. And I'm going to turn this green. All right. This is what I want to see. So I would play it off as far as an entry off the lower time frame, right? I would play it off that 15 minute. looking for that entry right around, oh, let me clean this up. And I don't want this solid. I want this to be transparent. Okay. Yeah. So I would off that lower time frame, this zone is what's of interest to me. Why I'm waiting for the break is because that signals to me that we're still moving to the upside. You could take a small position based off of where price is right now, but if you're looking for that added level of confidence, I would definitely wait until I got the break on the lower time frame and then that retest into that zone and then taking off from there. So the move is at what I can see the potential for. Let me go back down. What I can see the potential for is the move to finish off from this level here. That would be about 100, let's call it 175 pips, right, to the upside. And then the big move, I think, is the sell right around 1373 to 1376 to the downside. And that, I think, is for about 600 pips to the downside. So you can play it either way. Like I said, I like to trade reversals. Some people don't. They like to play it safe, which is totally fine, and trade with the major trend. But I see two opportunities. And to me, what I see is a low risk opportunity to the upside for about 175 pips, and then maybe a move to the downside for about 600 pips at the very least. I'm curious what you guys think about USD CAD. How are you going to play it? Let me know. Did you get into the move to the upside from the beginning, or are you going to take a move to the upside, or do you see it moving to the downside or upside right now? Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you guys for watching. I will see you sooner than you think. I wish you a very, very profitable week, and catch them pips, y'all. Bye.